Good morning, everyone. Whoa, it's dark in here. Lights turned out. Easy. There we go. How's it going? Good morning. Hope you all had a good day yesterday. Some exciting new changes coming next week. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Lucas. Lucifer. Onalet. Olinat? Olinat, there you go. I always take a few minutes to just chill out and wake up. Turn the stream on, chill out for a little bit. I think everybody does. I think all streamers kind of do that. I think when you first turn on that camera, it's like, okay, bit of a shift that happens in your mind. Takes a couple minutes, right? I mean, I've been up since 4 a.m. I'm ready to go. This is my second coffee. I've eaten breakfast. I've worked out. I feel good. It's just there's that shift that happens from waking up in the morning to entertainer. That 5 minutes that it takes to get in the zone. Just take Quaalude, Scott. That's hilarious. Somebody said that on Discord. Hey, Adeji. Marco, what's up, dude? Why did it delete your message, AlexSO? I gotta look at Nightbot's rules. Nightbot is like crazy. So strict. Let's quickly go take a look at Nightbot rules. What is this thing on about? Let's see. Aha, repetition filter. Yeah, let's disable that. I can manually ban people if they're being stupid. Believe me, I'm in the zone by the time I'm up on my feet. Nice, dude. Nice, MVM. Hey, Doman. Domen or Domin? I'm not sure how to. I don't think it's Domin. I think it's Domen or Domin. I'm not sure how to say your name, man. I probably butchered it. Sorry in advance. Yeah, but that first 5 minutes. Some exciting new stuff coming next week. Type exclamation mark hype in the chat if you want to know more about that. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin. I use all time frames, Adeji. Hey, Hashim. Ashim? Hey, man. Hey, Cotton, big fan of yours, Ashim. Hey, dude. Dudette. I'm not sure, but cool. Yeah, good to see you. Everyone does, no worries. I just wrapped up the advanced course, and now I see every aspect of my life in terms of up and down trends. I hate you. Welcome to my world. Every time I get gas, I'm like, oh, gas is about to dump. Let's wait and buy gas in another day. You start seeing things at the grocery store. Mayonnaise is on sale. Oh man, mayonnaise is getting slaughtered out there. We need to long some mayonnaise. It's expiring in 2 months, so that's probably why it's reducing in price and going on sale. But I'll eat it before 2 months. So yeah, okay, let's long mayonnaise. This is like the life of a day trader, man. You'll see everything in terms of like pumping and dumping. Oh, the bread is fresh. We need to long this. It's just coming out of the oven. Perfect time to buy. Go to the bakery. You can't even put it in the plastic bag yet because it'll melt the plastic bag. Yeah, this is a perfect long. That's like the best support level you could buy in bakery bread. That's it right there. That's, again, life of a day trader. Welcome. Get warm and cozy, because once you're here, you're not going anywhere. Especially when you start to make the money. Then that's when it really sucks you in. And I've been practicing my precision and my levels hit perfectly, but I never know why or how to repeat this process. How do I improve? Educate, man. Educate, educate, educate. Go take butterfly effect, Lucas. Bonjour to everybody. Bonjour. I don't do just one trade a day. When I'm trading, I'm like trading lots. It depends. That's kind of a loaded question, because it depends. Like, hey Bartu, it depends, man. Because like you can say okay, take one trade a day, and if that one trade a day, like, okay, say we took a trade this morning here, hit support, you'd be done for the day. That's 10 grand right there. That's 11 grand actually. 12.5k right there in 4, 8, 12, 16. So one trade could be your day, or you could be taking multiple positions of varying sizes. So like, I don't think you can put one formula. I think you have to kind of find your style in day trading and see what makes sense for you. I think the greener you are, the more trades you should probably be in, because you shouldn't be so heavily weighting. Like if I was taking this trade, I'd do 100x on $2,500 and maybe a 10k profit. Well, I wouldn't need to take any other trades, but I'm also weighting a heavy amount of risk, right? So now I don't know how much risk is actually there. If you have the level marked properly, there's actually no risk. So it's I don't necessarily think there's like a ton of risk there. When I say risk, I'm talking about for newer traders. So, you know, you're going to up your leverage and things like that. Yeah, okay, there's some risk there. But that's for when you get to a higher level, right? As a greener trader or a newer trader, maybe you take a lot of smaller trades. So maybe you get into like 10 or 20 trades a day that are smaller risk, smaller payoff, smaller rewards. 50 or $100 profit 10 times a day is like $500 to $1,000. So yeah, that can definitely do it. Yeah, so this is exactly kind of what we were saying was going to happen with Bitcoin. Accuracy check still plays out. We are still on fire. We are still 100% perfect. Not looking to get into any shorts yet. Not looking to take any longs, because the longs are a little too risky. I mean, if you were longing, you would have been doing back here on trend that already passed. And we're not taking a very active stance on trading right now anyways with this morning show. Not yet. Not till my accounting is set up. I am looking at possibly shorting 39.4, but again, like I said yesterday, I think at this point that level is no longer valid. So I don't necessarily think 39.4 is a good level anymore. 39.5 or whatever. I just marked the general level to dissect further to see the exact buy dollar amount. But I don't think this is a good place to buy anymore, simply for the fact that you are starting to break your trend here. So yeah, I mean, the accuracy continues. The legend, as they would say it, the legend is still ongoing. This thing is moving up. This is kind of what we thought was going to happen. This is stance we took yesterday. We're waiting for it to hit a bigger level. Yesterday we had the mindset that yes, okay, well, if it hits 39.5, we'll take a short there, but it moved up, pulled back at that point where it moves up and pulls back. So it moves up here, takes its pullback. At that point, we know that this is no longer the level we're shorting. It's too close to being hit as a target already. It's going after something much bigger at this point when it's acting to the trend like this. So yeah, great to see. Whoa, SPX. No, I don't want to be here. What is this? I hit the space bar and it goes to SPX. Wow. Sponsored content trading view. Yikes. Misclick and you go to SPX. Okay. You hate Bitcoin? I don't hate Bitcoin. It doesn't matter to me what Bitcoin does. I just make my money on it. I don't think it's as hype as people think, but Yeah, so what are we thinking Bitcoin wise here? Well, we need to see how it reacts to the next range. There might be a short possible at the 40 something mark, like 40,800 in and around there. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really done those levels above this right here because really I was just looking at this and that's it. Yeah, I find good entries whenever I trade at Deji. Another stance we took yesterday is, it's funny because yesterday in the morning we were talking about wanting to get in ETFs, um, and we want them to burn once more to the ground. Let's talk about that. Yesterday we said exactly that. We're hoping Bitcoin pushes up again and that ETFs take another massive chunk down. ETFs got absolutely slaughtered yesterday, almost like freaking magic. We called that one out. They got absolutely destroyed. Like SPX, I think it was, or not SPX. What was it? Let me pull up my ETFs list here. AVE was one of them. AVE got absolutely pummeled into the ground. This is what we were looking for. This is what we were waiting for. These ETFs to just hit such a crazy low that we can just make ungodly amounts of money on them. AVE, and there was another one that I was looking at that just got destroyed. SPX and AVE. Yeah, SPX down and AVE down, they just got absolutely slaughtered. So this is good because this is kind of what we were hoping was going to happen, that these ETFs, they just get absolutely destroyed once again, which they did. So this is good. We're looking for them to take another rip down here. We need Bitcoin to move up so they can take another rip down. Like imagine picking up AVE down at like 40 sats and it moves back up to like $1 or $2. There's just like an ungodly amount of money to be made in AVE down. Imagine this thing goes even to $1. Just back tests its first range, even 68 cents. So this thing goes down to like maybe, because this will nosedive once again if Bitcoin keeps pumping. So this thing loses another big rip down to say maybe, I don't know, 40 or 50 sats. Let's go like 60 sats. Imagine it goes to this range right here. Even this one range is 2000%. Imagine it goes, and that's not even, that's 1 cent. Imagine if this thing goes up to like 10 cents. What is this, 3 cents? 3 cents would be like 6,000, 4 cents would be like 6,000%. So this is kind of what we were saying yesterday, is that Bitcoin, we want it to hold and keep moving up. We're not getting into any shorts or longs yet because like one of these trades could be worth, okay, say you put $1,000 on this, it hits 60 cents, which is close, by the way. It's 60 sats. It's 91 sats. Say you put $1,000 on this, right? Say it does drop to 60 sats. You put $1,000 on this. It goes up to this range right here, which is just 4 cents. Very reasonable. What is that, like 80 grand from $1,000? Is that 80 grand or is that 800 grand? I think it's 80, right? I don't know, guys. It's too early. It's 80 grand. If you put 10,000 on this, that would be 800,000. No, that's not right. It's the other way around. It is 800 grand, isn't it? Calculator, my brain. Too many quaaludes. $1,000 times 8,000%. 8,000. Yeah, so that's no, that can't be right. It's 800. It's not 8,000% you'd make because it's actually only 800%. Yeah, so this is like $800,000 of profit. This is close to $1 million trade. If Bitcoin hits its top, dumps, this goes down. So kind of a perfect scenario. But I mean, we talked about this yesterday. We talked about ETFs. ETFs, yeah. Not escape from Tarkovs, not EFTs. We talked about ETFs getting absolutely destroyed yesterday and pummeled into the ground. And it happened this like within hours after I got off the stream. So this is perfect because like $1,000 could turn into like 800 grand. 10,000 is more like the position I would take. That's like $8 million if this happens. That's a lot of money, right? So just catching the right moment is pretty key here. A lot of money. I don't know. Awesome. Fell. Cool. Divergence in RSI. I'm glad it worked out for you. How do you become a member of Discord? You join Patreon. It's on my Patreon. So yeah, this is really what we're looking towards, to see how far Bitcoin is going to stretch its legs here and how many ranges it's going to push before these ETFs finally, well, how many ranges it's going to push before it falls, right? See how far Bitcoin is willing to go before it has a real pullback. It could already be in the stages of a pullback right now, but it's pushing ranges too much to make those decisions yet. Yeah, but imagine being an AVE the moment that Bitcoin actually confirms its pullback. Man, oh man, put your money in AVE down and just multiply it like to infinity. Watch $1,000 turn into $1 million on AVE down. ETFs are good for that. You just have to be able to see the right moment to make it happen. SPX down is another one. Oof. That's spicy. SPX down. Yeah, I don't use indicators. ETFs are contracts. How's silver doing? Binance is ETFs. Top of the morning, tune them out. What are we looking at today? Friday. What are we looking at? Not much, actually. Here, you know what? Let's check some commodities. Let's actually no, let's go stocks. I want to see how Renova's doing. God damn. Oh, it's such a perfect trade. I really hope you guys took this. Oh, this one was so perfect. I wish my accounting was set up. This is such a perfect trade. Would have already been up so much money, and this thing's probably gonna have a huge rip up. Our NVA is a heartbreaker. This is something we were gonna take if our accounting was set up, but it's still not set up. We're still waiting. I'm probably gonna call my bank and start yelling at them today. Oh, this is such a crazy good trade. Blah, it makes me want to throw up in my mouth. Our NVA for people who've been following. This is a trade that I advise to would be a really good buy right here after it tested this level. As long as this level tests and it can come down to here and you set your buy. I know Anthony's in this. Yeah, where's it going? Oh, it's gonna pay off your house, Anthony. I don't know. I haven't looked that far yet. I think you have to see the move develop a little bit. I think you need to see it test trends and see what it's going to be doing here. But this is definitely exactly what the bottom of something looks like. So our NVA possibly going to be back testing its range up here. So you're looking at, I don't want to say like 2000%, but it could actually be like a 2000% trade. Ugh, this just makes me sick that I missed this. because I would have been in on this pretty big. I mean, it's already up. Like you could already just sell for like a 20% profit. Like that's insane. Today's Friday already. Yeah. I had to get on TD and didn't have much money on that account. Yeah, it's so stupid. No, I don't use scanners, dude. Scanners are like so pointless. It's not even funny. Scanners are complete trash. Crazy how accurate this science gets, isn't it? Find the bottom of a stock that's dying. How does that happen? How do you even do that? Decade of reverse engineering, my dude. Ugh, that's so sick. That's so crazy. RNBA, it just makes you so sick because it's like a no risk trade. It's like a zero sum position where you have no losses possible and only profits. So if you put 10K on this thing, you'd already be up $2,000 on such a simple trade, such an ABC trade, and you'd probably just be sitting in this thing and make a few $100,000 on it on such a just ABC basic trade. On fib levels, completely useless garbage. Fib level, scanners, MACD, RSI, they all fall under piles of garbage. They're just completely useless. Fib levels are banana peels. RSI is like half-eaten watermelon slices. MACD is, I don't know, apple cores. It's just like all useless compost. Throw it all in a pile and let it just disintegrate itself. That's all useless garbage. Just the stuff that brand new traders use. It's hilarious that all your levels from the weeklies and monthlies got hit. All charts from 2018. Yeah, I do that. Sometimes somebody will say Garbaggio. Yes, Garbaggio. It's funny. Someone will say, oh, go chart this. And I check it. And it's like, oh, charts from like 3 or 4 years ago. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, these levels I predicted. I wish I would have remembered this because this was like pretty good. Excuse me. Would you have as a target on something that is continuously setting new highs? Yeah, you can find levels. It's just not through fib. Oh my god, man, Renova. It's the one that got away, guys. Renova. It's the one that got away. This is so gross. I gotta get out of here. This is gonna depress me all day long now. Oh, Renova, you suck. Your platform doesn't have RNVA? Sucks, man. Because RNVA was like an absolute juice. It was like crazy. It was pretty easy to see too. Like zero risk trade that has the potential upside to make hundreds of thousands of dollars is pretty yeah, pretty depressing missing something like that. I'm not losing trades too often, Yanni, unless there's something like weird going on. I called you Yanni, Yan version 2. Yan V2. I'm gonna call you Yanni. Not too often, unless something stupid is happening. I think the last time I lost a trade was when people were like selling my signals and front running me in Road to 1 million. I think that's the last time I lost a trade. But, you know, everybody loses trades still. Even I lose trades still sometimes. Not realistic to say nobody ever loses trades. You just, as you get better, you just get better at identifying when to get out, so that the losing trades just become non-efficient. Like you don't lose any money on them anyway, so they may be losing trades, but it's like, well, I may have been wrong, but to what extent? There's nothing really lost there. Win some, you lose some. Yep, exactly. I think you're going to see these ETFs continue to get punished, even if the highs get hit it's funny because these ETFs are, you know, they remind me of, these ETFs remind me of when Bitcoin dumped and everything just hit like 0 sats. Like there was coins out there that were 1 sat. Like what's Dent? Like Dent BTC, Hot, Holotech BTC, they actually couldn't drop in price anymore because they were like 2 sats and 1 sat. And then I don't even know what they're at today. Like what is something like Dent? What is it even at today? 161 sat. So this was like 161x because these things drop down to like 1 sat. This doesn't have the history on it, but maybe it does. Okay, so Dent dropped down to 5 sats. It's not even that much right now, 16 sats. What about Hot? I remember when Hot BTC, yeah, all these pairings got removed. Jesus, this thing got destroyed. My God. I remember when all these coins were at like nothing, like 1 sat, 2 sats. That's kind of what ETFs feel like right now. And they're at such a bottom scraping level that is just actually crazy. And they're going to continue to push down almost to being non-existent until Bitcoin finally finishes its move. And then when Bitcoin finishes its move, you're going to have ETFs that you guys are going to be able to go back and measure 9 months after Bitcoin hits its move. And then like, 3, 6, 9 months later, you're going to be like, wow, this was worth like 10,000%, 20, 30,000%, just like ungodly numbers that you've never seen before. You're going to see that with ETFs in the space. Like what's one of them here? AVE down, SPX down. Is that? No, Jesus. Why do I keep it? It's not SPX. What is it? SXP. There we go. SXP down. Like stuff like this, you're going to see it come back up and test like higher ranges again. Like you'll see this up at $6 again one day when Bitcoin has a pullback. Again, imagine being in this thing like even right now. It's like 200,000%. Like you will see this. Is that 2 million percent or 200,000? You will see stuff like this in the markets happen. Maybe not that extreme, but you could see like 100,000% on some of these ETFs. Like that's the payoff with them. There's just ungodly amounts of money to be made in them if you can catch the right moment. Like money that could buy you like 3 and 4 houses. The sick thing is, think of this. What would happen if BTC went back and pulled back to like 10K again? It's not an unrealistic scenario. BTC could pull back to 10K. It could hit 50K and go down to like 10, 12, 13, 14K. If that happened, all of these ETFs, they would just repush all of these ranges. They would just repush all of these levels in here. So in a scenario where Bitcoin actually does have a real pullback, if that is going to happen on Bitcoin, these ETFs are going to fly. They're just going to be out of their mind insane. The most money you would ever see in a stock chart is going to be, and this is the very first time, and the first and only time you'll see this with ETFs, because this is the first time they'll have their pullback, right? Because these ETF contracts are relatively new in the crypto space. So you can go and say like, oh, I don't know, what is this one? SPX down, SXP down, go to SXP up, right? SXP up is a bad one. What about sushi? Yeah, look at sushi, for example. EFT contract, 10,000%. Because EFTs haven't really... ETFs, not escape from Tarkos. ETFs haven't really existed in the crypto space for too long, right? So like something like this, or where sushi just even back in December here, like a month and a half ago, 10,000% almost. Like imagine what's going to happen to the ones that have gotten hit hard, like SXP or whatever, AVE, YFI, all of them. What's going to happen when Bitcoin has a real pullback? Well, these things are going to fly, but it's going to be the only time it happens. It's going to be, think of, people used to call it like the... like when you could buy Tether back, or not Tether, sorry, when you could buy Ethereum back at like $10 before it went up to like thousands of dollars, or when you could buy Bitcoin at, a couple $100 a Bitcoin. It's like the same thing, right? You're going to see one insane run up on all these ETF down contracts when Bitcoin pulls back. And it's going to be the only time in history it ever does it, because it's setting its first binding range, right? It's going to be like the first binding range of these moves ever having their like first initial level set. After this, all the moves they'll still be insanely good, but they'll be in between, right? Like you could potentially take like a $2,000 ETF contract here and buy like 4 houses if you can catch the right moment. You could make millions and millions of dollars from like $1,000 or $2,000 on some of these ETF contracts, even on spot. Just ungodly amounts of money to make on ETFs. But again, you have to catch the right moment, and Bitcoin actually has to have a pullback. So the whole industry has to kind of sink down back a bit and come back to reality a bit. So there's no rush to get into them. Bitcoin actually has to have its move first. But yeah, you need to be able to identify that move, because for those people who are understanding of what's going on with Bitcoin, for those people who know what to look for, they're going to be able to catch like one moment, and it's going to basically, like, if they can catch it, they'll be able to retire off one trade. They'll financially be retired off of one trade with an ETF, but it's going to be a one-time event for cryptocurrency, because these are brand new to the market. So they are going to set their first binding range, but you have to catch the moment, or else, you know, it's just not worth it. The risk is too high. The question, maybe, how do you decide which coin you're looking for when you start trading? Just kind of search. You get really good at scanning with your eyes. I think if you go through Future of Trading, you'll see a lot of things in there that will help you scan quicker. So you could just kind of look at a chart and make a decision in the first 3 or 4 seconds. Type in a ticker, look at a chart. Nah, not worth it. Or yeah, okay, let's investigate further. Don't use market scanners. They're useless. ETFs are, what is it under on Binance? Like zones, I think they're under. I think if you go to like, is it zones? Let's take a look on our other screen here. What are these under? They're under ETFs, actually. They're just under ETFs. So you've got BNB, BTC, altcoins, fiat, and ETFs. And then you just go under zones, or you go right to the bottom one and you go to ETF. ETFs are pretty high risk. So yeah, you got to be careful. Reef? Well, Bitcoin's no idea, dude. Could you just buy and hold? Well, I don't think that's smart. Yeah, Justin F is right. BTC goes down, alts go way down. I wouldn't start accumulating them now, Justin. I would wait for the right moment. So, for example, yesterday we said like ETFs were going to get punished out of their minds yesterday. AVE down. Okay. Rewind it to yesterday. So, I don't know, just go to like a 4-hour chart. Yesterday on stream, that's what we said. And yesterday on stream, it would have been like 8 in the morning. So like somewhere in and around here, right? You go to the 1-hour chart and you could say, oh man, these things have been just brutalized so much. And then yesterday I said like, oh, you know, Bitcoin's going to hold its move and ETFs are going to get pummeled. So, okay, fine. If you accumulated yesterday based on that, then what? You accumulated like, let's go to this February 4th at like 8 a.m. You could have been, oh, I'm accumulating right now at 120 sats. Like, this is great. They got pummeled, just like Cotton said. I'm accumulating now. Where is it today? So if you accumulated here, you're down 30% of whatever you put on. So I don't really think it's smart to just accumulate something because of the price is low. That doesn't make sense. Being down 30% on a trade is catastrophic. That's like, holy shit, sound the alarm bells. Alternatively, that 30% on the top is the difference between making, even if it just pushes to here, what's the difference? The difference would be making 277% versus, let's say 377%. So 100% difference for that 30% loss. So you get 100% more profits on one side. And you don't like what's going to happen today if they take another step down? What if Bitcoin keeps moving up? Aren't these things just going to keep dumping? Yeah, they will. They'll just keep dumping until Bitcoin stops. What if Bitcoin keeps pumping for 2 weeks? right? So you could have had that same mindset as, oh, why don't we just buy now and start accumulating since they're so low? What's from stopping them to going down to like 20, 17 sats, 10 sats, 5 sats? What's for stopping this thing from you losing like 97% of your initial price on it? Now all of a sudden, if you put, $3,000 on this trade, you'd get the same thing for $300. So that's why you don't just buy, because it's not about the price of the coin. It's about what the market is doing to the coin, the effect that Bitcoin has on it. So you can't just kind of like buy because the price is good. It doesn't work like that. This thing could keep going down. Hell, this thing could go past 2 sats. This thing could go down somewhere like to the point where it's 1 sat right here. It's 1 sat, and then between 1 and 0, they just add another 2 decimals to the list, and then it just expands like this. And actually, there's no stopping that. You can just keep making the decimals go down and down and down and down. This getting back up to here might be worth 10,000% if you go so low that you're down to like point whatever it is in here. Like imagine it goes down to 1 sat and starts pushing those decimal points, and this is like a 10,000% trade, because that could happen too, and that will happen if Bitcoin keeps moving up for the next couple months, because Bitcoin can move up for the next couple months. There's nothing stopping it. There's levels in the way, but if those levels don't pull Bitcoin back, like when is Bitcoin having its pullback? I don't know yet. All we do is play it day by day, because that's the only thing anybody can do. Any other predictions are unrealistic. If you guys have learned anything about trading on my channel, I have made every single correct call out on Bitcoin every single day, almost to the price. Like you could have 100x'd every single call out I made on this chart for the last like 3 weeks, and you'd be up hundreds of thousands of dollars. I haven't been wrong once. And I also don't have an opinion that I know it's going to 50K or I know it's going down to 10,000, because nobody can tell yet. We have to see how it reacts to the levels. So if there's one thing you guys learned, anybody out there who's saying, oh, it's going to 100,000 guaranteed, or oh, it's going to 50,000 guaranteed, they're completely talking out of their ass. Even I can't even say that. And I have had like impeccable accuracy. You literally couldn't have made better callouts than I made. You could have paid off a house with the callouts I've made on stream, and you would not have lost a single penny on 100x contracts, by the way, with maximum amounts or whatever amount you wanted to use. The point being that you could have taken the absolute maximum amount of risk, 100x, on every single thing I've said, and you would have been right every single time. So even if someone can be that accurate, which is like almost machine-like, almost future-telling-like, you still can't, that person still can't say, oh, Bitcoin's going to 50K, because I don't know yet. Nobody does. We have to see how it reacts to the range. It could hit a level and a hedge fund could liquidate. It could hit a level and it could have a crazy pullback. It could break through the level because everybody holds. Like there's no, the hedge funds will decide this, right? Like bigger hedge funds will decide this based on the things that are happening. And the top level traders across the world will make those decisions for the biggest funds, and then that will onset the industry to follow suit. But nobody knows yet. Nobody knows. People have ideas. People have plans in place. The biggest funds in the world have scenarios that they've crafted out where they're going to do this if this happens. They're going to do that if that happens. But nobody knows yet. Nobody knows. So the point being is that who's to say Bitcoin's not going to push 50K? Nobody. We don't know yet. So if Bitcoin pushes 50K, how can you be buying ETF down contracts? Because they're just going to get hammered into the ground once again. Every time this thing pushes a range, bang, there goes another 30 to 50% on every single ETF. Bang, there goes another 40%. Bang, there goes another 20%. Every time it pushes a range, this is going to happen. AVE down could go to 1 sat. SXP down could go to half a sat. Like there's nothing stopping that from happening. Also, there's nothing stopping a big pullback happening at this level, or even right now off of this being a ladder point off of a larger level. There's nothing stopping this from pulling back to 10K right now as well. Well, there's levels, and we're going to see how they get hit and they react, and we make those decisions in the moment, right? It's comparative analysis. It's understanding the chart architecture and the way things work. So this is why we don't buy ETFs right now, because we haven't seen the top yet. Well, actually, we might have seen the top, but we don't have the pullback confirmed yet. It's still pushing up. It's still holding its range long term. So you simply can't you can't make that assumption right now. AVE in general did good. Yeah, every altcoin will follow Bitcoin, right? Oh, I understand. It's because you're talking about AVE down. Yeah, exactly. AVE down. The down contract on it. Gonna see my family. They are hangry. Oh man, I know that feeling. I got a 3-month-old, and man, when she's hungry, holy crap, the world stops. Nice pullback on ONTX today. Let's go take a look. Oh, ONTX broke its trend in a big way. When did this happen? Oh, this happened a few days ago. Okay, I see. Oh, yeah, we looked at this. Okay, so fine. Yeah, it broke its trend. Good. Good for ONTX. Okay, damn, I see what you're saying now. Thanks for that. No worries, man. I hope that helps. I hope that helps really enlighten you guys for ETFs, because ETFs are really risky. So I just want you guys to be aware of the potentials there. Like you can lose a lot of money in ETFs. They're very risky, but they're also insane, right? It's a swing trade though. It is absolutely. How do I get the tool that shows the box with the percentage again? You can hold shift, Mike. So if you're on your screen right here and you're clicking around and moving, if you hold shift, you can click a point and it'll show you the percentage metric here. So like these boxes here, or you could just go on your left toolbar here and there's a ruler. If you hit the ruler, that's that same tool. If your shift key isn't working, because sometimes the shift key gets a little wonky. You'll be on the charts and you could be like, oh man, it's not working. And you click like 50 times and then all of a sudden it starts working. It's a little, it can be a little wonky using the shift key, but the measure tool will do the same thing. And you can see if you highlight the measure tool, it says shift plus click on the chart. So that would be just like manually activating and holding. See, there we go. It didn't work there. Holding shift would be the hotkey to activate it. Actually, that's because I hit cap lock, not shift at that time. My fingers suck. Are these spot orders caught in? Yes, Larkin, those are spot. Those are leverage tokens, but you're placing spot orders. So ETFs are contracts. So in a way, they are leverage tokens. They're contracts, right? Just like leverage, just like derivatives is a contract. It's not technically a derivative. It's a contract. That's why it has its own classification of ETF, because it's like trading a contract, but you're betting against that the price will go up or down. So you're betting on the derivative factor, but it's not a derivative itself. It's what they call an ETF. So ETFs are a bit, kind of like leverage, if you would think of it like that. Okay, thanks, too easy. Mystery solved. What are your calls now? I go by Cotton. Just Cotton. I retire from these ETFs. I'll buy my friend's BE. Do it, dude. You can't say it, then nobody can. Sad to have missed those 3 weeks of streams. What were your profits for January? I don't publicly give that information out, LS. If I was trying to catch ETFs, would you be using BE stuff, Cotton? Yes, Larkin. Would be BE stuff. Adil, I think that's how I say it. Adil Malik. How can you draw levels from all times? That's butterfly effect stuff. Do I trade link if it makes sense? Not specifically, but if it makes sense, sure. What controls the color? The settings. So you can double click on any candle and you can bring up your settings to change your colors. Think if I wanted to change my candles to purple, you would just double click the candles here. Just or you can right click settings, but you have to be hovered on the candle to do it. So you literally go to your candle and double click and it'll bring up a panel for charts and settings. There's no truth to Fibonacci's, dude. I never said that. That's fake news, dude. I never said that. You must be tired of making money every day. Hi, Cotton. Hey, Jenky. You can try with $10. Bar 2. There's no harm in $10. You just don't trust Binance? Yeah. I mean, I don't really trust any exchange in crypto, to be honest, but Binance I think is our best option. I think that if I had to pick one, I would say Binance is the best and the safest, but I also don't think they're foolproof. There's also parts of me that doesn't trust them. Like I'll never forget the ways in which they've been hacked in the past. like Syscoin hack and the Manacoin hack and all the hacks in the past that they've had. I'll never forget that stuff. And they just kind of brush it off like, oh, it was a flaw in Syscoin's protocol that allowed the hack on our system. Well, as a business, they should have covered, like, how many people I read on Twitter who lost like how much money on something like Syscoin or Mana. Like, it always happens, right? The point being is they're the business, they take the risk. If they're going to make money on people by charging them a fee to trade, then they should reimburse people when coins get hacked, because you can't play both sides of it. You can't be Binance and just say, oh, well, it was Syscoin's fault because they had weak security measures. Well, this may be true. It's your job to audit that company if you're going to offer their product on offer for sale and make money on their product on your site. That would be like buying something from Amazon and you get, I don't know, what's a product people buy? Like a Philips toothbrush or something. It's Amazon's responsibility to offer a return if that Philips toothbrush is broken, not for them to say, well, you know, Philips made a bad product, we sell it, but you know, they're kind of on the hook. So yeah, your funds are safe, we won't refund you and you don't get a new toothbrush, but we've got your back. It's like the same kind of logic, right? But they can get away with it because it's crypto and it's completely unregulated, right? So crypto in general is just a shit show. How many people on Binance lost money? I saw countless amounts of things back in the day on Syscoin and this and that. And it's like, how many? I remember seeing one Syscoin post on Binance's Twitter, and it had like, I think it was like, last time I checked, it was like 58,000 replies about people asking. I don't know how many of these 58,000 replies were asking to get their money back, but it had like 58,000 replies on it. Something about the Syscoin hack. And it was like, where's my money? Am I going to get reimbursed? Isn't there insurance for this? And it's like, Binance is making ungodly amounts of money on people, but the money's not really safe. They say, oh, the money's safe, but then where are they refunding customers? Like, Binance is kind of, I don't trust Binance. I don't trust any of them, to be honest with you. That's why I don't keep really any funds on any exchange. I keep some trading money on exchanges just to trade with, but I don't keep anything real on exchanges. Just maybe like 5-figure amounts, nothing crazy. It's actually a joke that they can get away with that, but they can, and they say, yo, your funds are safe. So yeah, I mean, I guess in our hearts, you know, we remember the dollars we lost, so the memory is safe. We're never going to forget, if that's what you mean. If that's what you mean, CZ. But like, where was people getting reimbursed for the hack? Like, that will always be my question. And now this happened years and years ago, and I get it, things have evolved, but like, management hasn't changed, CEOs haven't changed, which means the greed hasn't changed, which means when CZ should have had people's backs, and when people should have got refunded money for this hack on their on their exchange, which is their product that they're making money on by selling these sub products, you know, nothing has changed. Binance has increased its performance, but the ethos of the owners hasn't changed. That's like human intention, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you about. Like, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I don't trust Binance either, but it's like the best option we have. So F Binance. Give the profit percentage for January. Dude, I'm not doing that. Just follow the stream if you want to know. It would be in like the thousands and thousands of percentages, LS. The ruler color? How do you change the ruler color? Like, between green and red, you just move it up and down. If you go down from your starting point, it goes red. If you go up, it goes green. The reason I say that is I had a buddy have to beg for his cash. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So there's a difference. Like some people, they have to get money off an exchange, and for legal reasons that maybe Binance can't discuss, or for reasons of privacy, they always can't tell you why the money can't be removed. Sometimes they have a suspicion. So say, now this might not be the case, but say your friend has something irregular with his account. Now, this could just be the way he trades flag something for irregularity. They may suspect him for something else, which is within their right to investigate and to just say, we're looking into it, and then to just go dark. It's within every right when you're dealing with money and finances and legalities and security commissions, and the way that these exchanges have to follow regulations is actually pretty intense. Like, some of the stuff that I've seen when I've been at these funds or exchanges. Now, I haven't obviously been in legal meetings or anything like, well, I have, but not regarding these types of things. But the amount of red tape is actually quite crazy when they have to answer to like securities commissions, when they have to answer to the law, when they have to have audit trails, when they have to do like proof of auditing, things like that. It's kind of intense. We had to do that for our bot. We had to create like a 1-year audit trail so that we could be legally registered for the AIX, the bot that I was making. So we had to be doing like a 1-year audit trail, which had to be then audited by a third-party company, which had to then go to securities commissions and a package so that it could there's anyways, there's this whole thing. So they're within every right to say, oh, we have your money, be patient, we're looking into it. And then them to go like dark for 2 months for legal reasons, sometimes they can't discuss it. So that I don't mind. What I mind is when people get their money lost over hacks. Eventually your money will go to you. That's just part of the financial market. Sometimes you wait 6 months to get a withdrawal. I've had it happen. I've had to wait like sometimes 6 months to get my money out of somewhere. Not because it was something shady, but just because it was sometimes the process time for different variables, right? So I don't mind that as much. But the hacking stuff is like, yeah. On Canova? We never went over on Canova. It's on Canova. And we're on the stock screen, aren't we? Maybe this is appropriate. On Canova Therapeutics. Yeah, we did. It broke a trend. Whenever we went over this, we have this trend mark that broke it. So I don't know when we went over on Canova. It was maybe like a week ago. We were talking about buying here and it breaking trend. It looks like it broke trend. So maybe we didn't go over it in depth, but we definitely did mark it up and take a look. See if there was a buy there. No, Fibonacci doesn't work at all. Truth preach, brother. Yeah. No Fibonacci at all, like of any type, in any way, shape, or form. The golden rule, I learned all about that in school. It's just some weird thing people hang on to. It's just a weird relationship. It's just something. It's kind of one of these thoughts, like the way I think of Fibonacci and like the golden rule, like the golden section, they call it. It's kind of like this. Oh, it works everywhere else in life. Maybe it's on the charts. And then somebody convinces themselves that they see something and all of a sudden it's real. It's not real. Completely fake news. Use it if you want to lose money. If you get lucky gambling with it, then I guess the slot machine worked with your bucket of quarters. That's just the way I see it. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up on chat here. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Holy crap, there's a lot of chat. I rambled on about some things here. I got to that. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of an old man today. I'm a little tired. I've been up editing like crazy. This past month has been super hard on me physically just because I've had such a crazy shift in the way that I do things. I figured it would take like a full month. Hopefully by next week we'll be in like the full swing of things and we're not dead in the mornings anymore. But this editing until like 1 in the morning and waking up by 4 and then sleeping halfway in the day is like kind of destroyed me a little bit. I just have to readjust my schedule, right? It's just the video editing that's killing me. But I was working on my schedule today to get this under control because like I'm waking up dead. Okay, here we go. Buddy who begged for his cash. Yeah, I got it. Okay, we're good. Fibonacci, golden rule, garbage. I only keep what I'm willing to lose on an exchange just enough. Mount Gox? Mount Gox, oh god. That's old school, man. That's like the beginning of crypto. Yeah, that was a runaway scam, right? Like Mount Gox ran away with how many? I actually have a buddy who had like 12 million back in, I think it was 2017, Mount Gox. I had a buddy who had like 12 million back then. I don't even want to know how much it's worth today. When they exit scammed him, he's in a legal thing still trying to get his money back. He'll never see it. Nobody will see that money. Last I heard like a year or two ago is that Mt. Gox lost the lawsuit and they were trying to recover funds for people and they had gotten, it was some piddly amount, like $12 million they recovered or something like that. Wow, no, sorry, 12 million is what my friend owned. It was some piddly amount, like 30 million, but they ran away with like just ungodly amounts of money. So yeah, Mount Gox was just like, yeah, I don't need to touch that. I'm sure people beat that to death. Yeah, with the S&P, there actually is an S&P down contract. What is it called? SPU, I believe. Is it SPU? There's a SPU. I think this is it. I think this is basically like the down contract for futures, like futures down. What the hell is the there is one I know because I've looked at it this week. What is it? SPX, SPN. It's SP. I'm gonna put SPX down and see what happens. No, there is. It does have a ticker. What the hell is it? Somebody knows in chat because someone was asking about it and I talked about SPX down. SP down. Maybe we can't. Here, let's just Google it. There is a ticker. It's like SP something, SPU or SP something. SPX down contract. Let's just Google it. E-minis, that's what it is. That's right. And the E-minis. What the hell is the E-mini? PX. Let's just go E-mini. Okay. No, it's not E-mini. There's a ticker for it. It's the oh, what is it? ES00? I don't remember looking at this. No, it's not this. Wait. E-mini. There we go. ES. So this is your like ETF for SP. But what's the down contract? There's a down version of this too. What is it? Well, you can Google it and find out. Yeah, but anyways, there is. It's a E-minis contract. Hey, Jessica, you're new here. What's up? There is an AVE up, yes. There's always like AVE up, AVE down. Couple 1000%, not bad. ETFs have bigger risk, bigger reward. Yeah, 100x on Binance, Kato. Keep your profits in your bank. Only keep on an exchange what you're willing to lose. The price line off? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Slowly but surely getting there. Good job, Bartu. AVE down. Yeah, AVE down is going to be a bit of a monster. Talking about this quite a bit today. AVE down. I'll wait till it gets hit again. This thing could go all the way down to like 5 sats for all it cares. It doesn't matter. It's still moving down. There's no sign of this thing moving up anytime soon. Thing can go to 5 sats and it still might not even be a good buy. We just wait for Bitcoin, right? We wait for Bitcoin to have its move, to give us a signal that it's done its move, and then we catch the ETFs in that moment. I'm watching that like a hawk every day right now. When Bitcoin is going to have its pullback to get into an ETF, I'll scale into 3 or 4 of them. Toss in 5 or 10K on each one when I see the right moments in Bitcoin happen. That's kind of my plan. Consider doing one larger, but like 50 grand on an ETF in that moment, something like that. But I think it'd be kind of hard to get that much money filled. I'm looking at some of the liquidity in these ETFs, and while they're big because they're ETFs, to get the exact level, I think you're better off spreading it out a bit instead of tossing like 50 grand on one ETF, like maybe 10 grand across 3 or 4. Reduces risk a little bit because ETFs are highly volatile in case you're wrong. And yeah, a little bit easier on liquidity purposes, up and down. And then I can scale out of each one of them at different times. Use my first one to cover a ton of profits, use my second, scale out to make a landmark, and then use my third, scale out to see how far it can go, kind of idea. So take my first 10,000, maybe cash profits at like 150K, second one at a few 100,000, like 600,000-700,000, and then third one, see where it goes. The plan anyways, whether it works out or not, it's a different thing, but that's the plan. Like you see the last price on the screen and there's just a line across the screen. Oh, I can't remember what that's called. I know what you mean, but yeah, I take that crap off. That one is it this one? No. Last price line. This thing you're talking about, that's the last price line. Yeah, this thing is useless. Take that crap off. Pollution on your screen. What level to long or short? Butterfly effect is the level, my dude. Do I have athletic straps on? No, it's a tattoo. I have a tattoo on my shoulder. It kind of wraps around my body a bit. Yeah, spot on the ETFs. I talk about it in a lot of streams. Just look at the past streams, Derek. I go in depth on it quite a bit. ACAC? What is ACAC? Yeah, we're on the stock screen. Of course we could go over this. What is this? AC's Acquisition Corp on the Chicago. Okay, so what are we looking at? It's a relatively new list. I mean, I would be waiting for this thing to pull back to some pretty crazy lows. I don't really know if there's a spot that I would look to buy this, maybe around 1030, maybe even like $10 flat, like maybe around 1030, like this right here. Something like maybe in this range here I'd be looking to buy. Of course, it could hold trend, right? Like it could hold trend, but it's kind of losing its trend right now. So then you could go to your further trends. But yeah, I would be looking more at the level, and I don't even think it can necessarily hold that. I think this is too new to try to get some kind of crazy position on it. I think the potential for this to go down. I think can it, like, okay, could it test 1030? Yeah, absolutely. Is it worth a buy there? I mean, if it goes up, obviously it was worth a buy, but I also think the reality that it actually just falls much lower here over the course of period, even down to like a $2 or $3 range, I think is also a reality too. So I don't really know if I like assuming that type of risk on this. Could it theoretically hit 1030 and hold? Yeah, absolutely. But the risk factor is high. So, you know, when I'm trading, I try to take, because I do trade with larger amounts, and I guess I'm trained to do that from the companies I've worked with. Not for, by the way, with. I've never worked for a company. I refuse to work for anybody who offers me any type of gig. I've been asked by many companies, even in the crypto space, some of the top 10 companies you see on like CoinMarketCap, I've been asked to work with them. Like as an employee doing this, I've just said no. So some of those companies in the top 10 I've been asked to work with. Well, just so to be clear with people, I would never work for a company doing this stuff. They would take a lot. It would take a lot to get me to work for a company. Like a lot of different things, which it would take a lot. Anyways, I wouldn't take the risk on this. I think there's just too many other good trades. Like when you have something like Renova, which we took our trade on, versus a brand new coin like ACAC, I don't really see the benefit. Like I don't see where you would make money on ACAC. Like where would you even make money on ACAC? You know who makes money on ACAC? The CEOs, the people on the share board who have shares in the company. They made their money because they have however many tokens was put in their incorporation documents, however many tokens was awarded from their incorporation documents down at 10 cents or whatever, and they sell at $10. Everybody else now, like even IPO buyers, it's just like, well, sometimes IPO buying is really good, but that's risky too. But there's just like, when you have stuff like Renova out there, like why even go into something like ACAC? It's just a little too high risk, right? So, man, so like this is gonna be the tilt. This is the trigger right here. This is it, Renova, because this is the one we were gonna buy. All January, we said Renova, 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 Renova. This is it. This is the one coming up. Marked it. Perfect. And now it's flying. God, fuck me. So brutal. So brutally accurate on this one. This is like accuracy to a new level on a stock that's dying. Imagine being able to pick this level and missing the trade because your accounting's not set up. Imagine. Imagine a spread of, so the top price is $500. We're just going to round it to 500. The top price is like what? Let's look at the actual top here. Let's pick the candle. $500. $500 even. Imagine the top price being $500 on a stock. And you were able to pick the accuracy out of that $500 on the level that you're supposed to long. This is 1.2 cents. So imagine picking in a range of a coin, $500. Imagine picking it to the accuracy of $499.98. So $499.98, and the total swing of the price is $500. It's actually not $500 because it didn't hit. It's actually the swing of the price is $499.99. Imagine picking it at $499.98 and not getting in the trade because your accounting isn't set up, but picking the level and saying you'd take this and advising other people to take it. Like this is brutal. This is the trigger factor right here. Like, it makes me itchy. This is bad. We need to clip this, and whenever people ask how much profits I make, we just link them to this. This is tilting. Oh, this is triggering. How's AC Air Canada? I don't know, man. Like, as a company, I don't know. I don't really fly too much. Last time I flew, it was to Mexico. Great trip, by the way. Puerto Vallarta, loved it. I got to get out of here. I'm gonna keep, like, I'm gonna torture myself over like the next months on that stock. I just hope you guys are in it. I just hope my community and people who watch me took my advice on that one. That's all I can say while I rub my face in anxiety. I've done Tesla in the past. You ever trade Forex? Yeah, all the time. I like Airbnb. I mean, that company's been around for so long. It's already what I feel like when I miss out on crypto moves. Yeah. Tesla we've done in the past recently. No shot on the Tesla Jeep. That's a no-go. That's a hard no. I'm gonna get water. I'll be right back. I'm taking a quick break here, so you guys need to do your break thing. Do it now. Okay, back. Yes, Yan V2. Blueprint is a prerequisite to Butterfly. It's TRNV. The TRVN. Trevina. We wouldn't touch it. Which markets do I find myself in the most? Well, it was crypto for the past few years. Before that, it was Forex. Like, I do love Forex. Speaking of Forex, I guess we should just check our few that we have marked for follow-up. USD JPY. Just go quickly through our Forex list here. USD JPY. So it is breaking. It's still moving up after that trend. We were hoping for a pullback on USD JPY, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Looks like it pretty much broke its move like perfectly. CNY, sorry, the Chinese yen. Still waiting on this to pull back. Good. And the franc. USD, CHF, the franc. Just want to keep on top of these three because, so franc is failing trend. So this is kind of what we were hoping for yesterday. It pushes trend and it fails it on a larger time frame. Good. Franc will pull back. Hopefully it does anyways, and it doesn't break the larger time frame here, the weekly. Start holding a range and pushing that. I guess it's got a bit of a ways to go, but anyways, it's good. BTG, Bitcoin Gold. Is Bitcoin Gold even around still? Bitcoin Gold is still around. Yikes. Bitcoin Gold is such a crap coin. Whoa, that's an old chart. Whoa, it was accurate. Look at this. When did I do this? 2019. Hey, it hit our target. We didn't take the trade, but no, we made a cool 30% on this one. Bitcoin Gold, let's go. Yeah, I find myself splitting my time between all markets right now. More focusing on the stock markets than crypto right now. But for like the past 4 years, I've been like devout crypto. All three. Well, I don't know how long. It's kind of like off and on periods, I guess. But yeah, like devout crypto. Would you consider buying Coinbase once they go public? Hell no. God, no. God, no. No, I don't think crypto replaces fiat. I think crypto is kind of a laughable joke. It's just a big bubble, in my opinion. There's no way crypto will ever replace fiat. Anybody with that idea has got rainbows in their eyes. No, I don't give two cares in the world about fundamental analysis. If it happens, it doesn't affect my life. I don't care either way. It makes no difference to me whether it happens or not. But if you're asking me my personal opinion, I think it's just like a joke, to be honest. If crypto replaces fiat, which it never will, I would be very shocked. But yeah, I think crypto is just like, I think the idea of cryptocurrency is good. I think the idea of digital ledgers and those have existed for a long time though. Crypto hasn't like reinvented the world by having digital ledgers. Those have existed forever with banks. I see a value in crypto for countries that like removing the carbon footprint of banking, I think is good, but I think banks can do that on their own. I don't think crypto needs to do that. I think banks can do that on their own just with the normal advancements of technology. I'm not sure what Mara is. Thoughts about BTT? Probably none. Welcome, Fafasco. Yeah, I don't think crypto really adds that much value to our world. I think there's like value in cryptocurrency with things like logistics chains. I think are something that can that highly benefit from cryptocurrency. But I don't think cryptocurrency itself is really where like logistics chains can do it without cryptocurrency. I just think the projects that are coming out are cool. DeFi apps, it's just stuff in the financial markets. Like, what about DeFi apps? What do you mean when you say, how about DeFi apps? Like, what's my opinion on them? DeFi's as good as the market is, right? Like, in a hot market, DeFis are hot. In a bad market, DeFis are bad, right? DeFi represents like index funds and the staking of different coins, and like an elaborate formula of savings accounts. In a good market, those things make a lot of sense, right? But when Bitcoin's pulling back, all of a sudden so do those things, because the value of them go down, right? So I mean, DeFi has been around for a long time. No, I wasn't kidding, dude. I don't think there's any value in Bitcoin. DeFi has been around for a long time, just in different forms. The idea behind DeFi is just index funds. Index funds have been around forever. DeFi is yield farming, right? Like stake nodes and yield farming. That's all great and good when Bitcoin is moving up, but what if Bitcoin pulls back? I mean, the value of those things will all dump too, right? It's just like mining. Mining is great when Bitcoin is flying, but when Bitcoin's dumping, the profits in mining, they start to become pretty cutthroat. So it's like the same thing. That's in Butterfly Effect, Ideal. Yeah, so cryptocurrency, like I know I've talked about this before, so it's kind of a broken record take, but yeah, we'll do it again. Just a quick one though, maybe. I don't think Bitcoin really has any added value to the world. I see Bitcoin like I see Pokemon cards. It's worth what people are willing to pay for it, and it's a barter token, right? So barter tokens are good. I can trade 2 chickens for 3 loaves of bread, or I could trade 1 Bitcoin or a portion of a Bitcoin or a fraction of a Bitcoin for a sandwich. I could trade a Pokemon card for a car, right? Like they're just tokens of barter. They're not backed by any real dollars. So yeah. Now I understand they're backed by like USDT, but again, they're just tokens of barter. They will never replace our financial institutions. Imagine a world where Bitcoin becomes worth $500,000 a coin. In the US, they would just shut it down. The national security would step in, the US Treasury would step in, and they'd say, oh, this is a threat to our economy. Therefore, it's banned in the US. And then Bitcoin would just dump because it would be banned. It would just dump. So I really don't see the value in the thought process of, oh, it can replace currencies. In what world would any government allow a third-party currency to replace their national currency? So which government in the world would allow that? I guess that's where you have to first start with that question. Even third world countries. Would the Brazilian government allow their token of monetization, what they use to create their economy, would they allow Bitcoin to replace it? Or would they say it's a national threat and just say it's banned in Brazil? Think about that for a second. People have rainbows in their eyes when they think that Bitcoin is, they have stars in their mind and rainbows in their eyes when they think that Bitcoin is going to replace any currency. No government in the world would ever allow that. Sure, it is. USD is backed by banks, backed by government guarantees. And that's a silly statement to say neither is USD. That's a very silly statement. It's just like saying, well, if your car is not a sandwich, then your house isn't a rock. It's kind of a weird take. Saying that USD isn't backed by anything is just kind of like, okay. Yeah, USD is declared legal tender. BTC is not. If Bitcoin were ever to push like $1 million a coin, the US government, any government, every government in the world would just say, this is threatening our economy. It's threatening to burst the bubble. It's now a national security threat. We banned it in our country. any banks associated with Bitcoin, well, guess what? Your accounts are going to be revoked. And they would just put this into action. Bitcoin will never take over like people think it will. That thought is just like millennials' paradise. Anybody who thinks Bitcoin as like a tool of financing will be something that's like legitimized in the future is absolutely out of their mind. They have their own coins. It's called money. Why do they need a coin? That's another part of the problem. People think they need coins. They have their own coins. It's just called money. It's just called tender. It's currency. What's the difference between like a coin and a dollar bill? That cryptocurrencies will be gone soon. I don't think they'll be gone. I just think it's not like what people think it is. Cryptocurrencies will be gone soon. Like I always say, I think Bitcoin's a huge bubble. It's only a matter of time before they ban crypto, other than their own central banks that they may create. Exactly. I have no idea what yids are. Cryptocurrencies will be gone too soon. Yeah, I don't think they'll be gone. I don't think they'll be gone. I just think that you won't see if there was a world where Bitcoin would push like 500K, it would be a bloodbath. People would get slaughtered. It would be national security threats. It would like shit would hit the fan. It would be the biggest bubble burst in the world. Like it's just not realistic to think that. I kind of went over it earlier in this stream. Killed JFK. USDT is Tether. USD is US dollars. USDT and USD are not the same thing. Yeah, but what good is Bitcoin? People have been saying it's a bubble for years. It is. It doesn't mean that it's not true still. Bitcoin is like I always say, Bitcoin is like Pokemon cards. It's worth what people are willing to pay for it, and you can trade it for other things. But you can't pay your mortgage with Bitcoin. You can't buy a car with Bitcoin. Like you can't do those things. You can trade it for money and use money to buy those things, but unless like a third party is willing to accept, that would be like me going and saying, hey, man, I really love this house. Would you take Pokemon cards as payment? Hey, if they're willing to take Pokemon cards because they're a Pokemon collector as payment, great. I can take Pokemon cards and they're worth a lot of money too. And they're a tool of barter. But that's if they're willing to accept it. But you can't go into a bank with a bunch of Bitcoin and say, hey, I want to pay my mortgage in Bitcoin. They'll just turn you away and laugh at you. I think cryptocurrency is a good concept. I think digital ledgers are good, but I think people misunderstand that those have already been around forever. I think things like logistics, supply chains, and kind of the innovation that's coming out of cryptocurrency, I think is really neat. So things like VET, for example, I think VET is really cool and how they're handling logistics. I think using a cryptocurrency token to handle logistics is good. But this is no different than a logistics company on the stock markets. There's no difference. They just have their coin listed as a cryptocurrency. It's the same thing as owning stock in like American Airlines or Starbucks. If you own $100 worth of Starbucks, there would be no difference in owning $100 of Venn, except one company represents coffee and the other one represents logistics. American Airlines, that's a form of transportation. So American Airlines and Venn are almost the same thing. They're both logistics, right? To a point. So there's no difference there. You can, B-boy. Bitcoin can never be what people think it will be. It can't. It will become declared a national security threat because it would threaten economies of any government in the world. Again, there's just like such a simple way to put a nail in this coffin of a conversation. You tell me which government would willingly say, let's replace our legal tender with Bitcoin. Which government in the world would ever do that? So that's just like the quick way to kill that conversation. And it really just puts people into the mindset of, oh, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, I think you're right. And Bitcoin will still be around. It'll still be traded. Bitcoin may be worth 100K in a year and it may be worth $500, right? Like, it'll still be around to trade. You can always trade Bitcoin. I don't think the cryptocurrency market's going anywhere. I think this represents a technology market like tech, right? It's like saying, oh, what if computers go away? What tech stocks should I trade? It's like the same thing, right? I think this represents a specific market, and I don't think it'll ever go away because there's a lot of cool innovations coming out of cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin as a currency itself, not realistic thinking. I don't think it'll go away. It may burst, but that doesn't mean it'll disappear. I just don't think it has the price forecast that people think it does. Even if it did, let's say if it does hit 500K, it's still not going to replace currencies. No government would allow that. The moment Bitcoin gets too high in price is like the moment when the US steps in and the Treasury says, oh, this is a threat to our national security. We are now banning everything. Because if Bitcoin got too high in price and people started to say, oh, the US dollar is worth less because Bitcoin is worth more, it threatens to destroy economies, right? So at that point, the governments would just step in and say, yeah, it's banned in our country. And then it would just plummet the price of Bitcoin because people would realize that, hey, this actually can't be what we wanted it to be. It's not a solution to poverty and money issues at all. If I were a government, I would accept it legally. It's not a solution to poverty and money issues. That doesn't solve poverty and money issues. Getting banned in India, yeah. That's not a bad thing. I'm not sure, Rafal. I think you have to make that decision on your own, what to invest in. How does it solve poverty and money issues? That's another big point that people always say, oh, it solves poverty and money. Why? Because people can transfer it? Because it's free to transfer? So you're talking about reducing a carbon footprint and creating better systems, not curing poverty. There's a big difference. It can help, but there's also a lot of other things that could help that too, like banking going purely digital and charging lesser and less fees. Like banks, some countries do this already. Banks use whatever money people have in their bank to hedge against reverse inflation, right? Or reverse interest rates. So you can get reverse interest rates in some countries. Like, for example, you take out a mortgage on your home. You know, in Canada here, we pay 2% or 1%. Like I pay 1% on my mortgage. Some countries, I actually get 1% back for having a mortgage because they use my money in blue chip bonds and they just give me an actual discount on my mortgage for giving them my money. So banks could easily solve the same problem crypto can. They probably already have plans in place to do it. They just don't employ it yet because they can squeeze out more money from people before they actually have to do that, right? So how can Bitcoin, like that's a big stretch, and that's where people's imagination just, they hear the word Bitcoin and then people's imagination and uneducation, just not saying people are uneducated, like uneducated towards banking, they kind of let their imagination get the best of them. Like, oh, Bitcoin solves poverty. How? In what way? What way does Bitcoin solve poverty? Because it reduces fees. Banks could already do that. They just don't. If it ever got to that, banks would do it to save their businesses. Banks wouldn't go out of businesses because because they're too stubborn to change with the times. Hey, Six Pack, I'm doing good, man. How you doing? Tired from a lot of editing this week. How does it solve poverty? Right? So there's just like jumps in conclusions there that people have to realize that these things are already all possible with the current systems we have in place. They're just not used. So like that's the thing about Bitcoin, is not really, what is it really doing? Not much. It's a cool new industry. That's definitely true. But again, this is all just fundamental analysis, things that, sure, I have an opinion on them, but they mean nothing to me. Like, hey, if Bitcoin takes over the world, cool. It doesn't solve sanction problems. That's another big jump to conclusion. How would Bitcoin in itself solve sanction problems? Assuming that Bitcoin is the all-in-one solution to everything behind sanctions, that's another big jump. Nice, man. You just earned $30. Good. Good job, dude. Binance down. I don't have any problems with Binance right now. I'll refresh my Binance on my other screen. I don't think I have any problems with Binance. It's actually not refreshing. Maybe Binance is down. Yeah, I'm getting timed out on Binance. It looks like Binance is definitely down. You can transfer money without using banking systems. You have to use a system still to transfer money. So what's the benefit? Lower fees? Banks could already employ that. So what's the benefit? No, it's not just you, Mike. Yeah, it's definitely down. What if the dollar is going to be backed by Bitcoin in the future? Oh boy. Oh, that would be a very interesting government that would allow that. That would be a day to see. That control is given up like that in the world. That would definitely be a day to see, Fillmore. I just think generally, people hear the word Bitcoin and they get so invested in this idea that the world is changing and that Bitcoin is here to save everybody that they kind of overlook the kind of the commonalities that, like, what is Bitcoin really solving? Like, what does it really do? You can have the basic conversation about, oh, it's faster than money and it costs nothing to transfer. Well, those things are already achievable by banking. They just don't do it yet because they don't have to. It's like great inventions sometimes sit for 20 years before they get released. You know, there's theories out there and proof that there's like propulsion systems that could do hyperspeed right now, that we don't use them because NASA or the people who control these things, these technologies are too dangerous for what we have right now. So sometimes patents and technologies get sat on for 20 and 30 years before they're released, right? So who's to say banks can't already do that? They really help a lot. That's awesome, dude. BTC made you breakfast this morning? Dude, that's a huge investment. That's a long I'm on board with. So that's what I think. Like, that's just my fundamental take on Bitcoin. Like, what is it really doing that we can't already do? I just think people get way too obsessed with this idea that it's changing the world, kind of like the millennial thoughts, right? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, new generations push the bounds of life, but this is one that is just not experience over excitement, I guess. I have no idea where you can buy that. Taught your son about shoelaces? That's good, dude. Crypto is a solution to poverty. It's really not. Can it help a carbon footprint? Yeah, for sure. So you think about what could it do, and you could say like the basic thing of, oh, like, you know, this is what you always hear people say. Why is crypto good for the world? Because it can send money from me to my cousin in Brazil in 10 seconds. So if he has an emergency, banks could do the same thing. They just choose not to employ all those systems because there's other security measures in place. Or for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into the whys they don't do that, but they could do that too. So there's no difference there. Oh, then I don't have to open up a bank account. Well, the only bad thing about opening up a bank is that they can't go into certain parts of the world because there's not an economy to support them. Well, banks could go purely digital if they wanted to. So I don't see how Bitcoin solves this, because before Bitcoin could take over, banks would just go purely digital. They're not going to lose their stake in the world. Banking, like private bankers, like, you know how much those guys are worth. They're not going to lose their stake in the world to some anonymous coin when they could easily just flip a switch and do the same thing that crypto can do. It's just they choose not to because it's a business model and they can still squeeze more out of people in the world before they have to make that switch, which is their decision as a business, as a privately owned business. It's their decision to do that, right? If it creates bigger problems in the world, then it creates bigger problems in the world, but it doesn't mean that crypto is going to replace them. Bell Labs sat on the voice system for 40 years. Exactly. It's just the way the world works. Bitcoin doesn't solve these problems. But again, let's move on, because fundamental analysis and me, we are two completely different spectrums. I could care less. If Bitcoin goes to $1 million, I'll be happy. It won't matter to me. I'll be completely neutral. Just like I don't care if it goes to 500. Do I want to see it go to 500 for just like personal haha? For sure, I do, because I want to be able to get the shorts and make all the money. But that's why I care, because I just want to make the money on the shorts and the longs. Just like if it goes to $1 million, I'll be happy. The same happiness level if it goes to 1 million, then it goes to 500. You know where my happiness lies in the volatility, so I can just make the money. So to me, I really don't care either way. So if it goes up to these prices and does all these things, great. But I just don't think it's realistic for it to do that. But that's just my opinion. That doesn't make me right or wrong. Hey man, good evening to India. Good evening from my world or good morning from my side of the world to yours, man. Options is cool. Yep. Options trading, EFTs. Jesus, I did it again. ETFs. ETFs, options, all that. Yep, for sure, dude. Yeah, Binance is down right now. Interesting. What I can say about crypto is the amount of unregulated like scumminess that happens is crazy. So I think that's like a big deafening factor to Bitcoin, is like how scummy the markets are and how like unregulated things are, and like the hacks that go on and things like that. I think is just absolutely nuts. I think it's like rampantly out of control. The amount of unregulation that's in the industry, and the side effect of that is just like, that's enough to kill crypto in itself. It's such a thin line. One more Mount Gox and crypto's done. It's just such a thin line. Now you have people like Grayscale and stuff like that. And what's going to happen if another Mount Gox happens with one of these companies? Holy crap. It's going to be you guys think you've seen bloodbaths before with how high the price of Bitcoin is now. If something happens, the volatility, there's no insurance in this industry. There's no regulation. It will be an absolute gong show if something happens like that again, which I kind of have to think that it's just a matter of time, isn't it? Can't be roses and peaches forever, but maybe. Again, I don't care. We just trade the volatility. Yeah, monthly's for sure important. No best time zone for crypto. How's RNVA doing for Nova? It's just flying, isn't it? It's actually flying. Well, we're getting off in a few minutes because future trading is coming out in 7 minutes. So we are getting off stream here, and I've got a ton of video editing to do. Big changes coming next week, which is exciting. I'm dead tired from working on them all this week. Big changes, not going to talk about them. Oopsies, that's not the chat at all. Go like this. You guys can see the announcement there, or follow along to see the announcements. Yeah, big changes coming. I'm very excited to see what the stream and things are going to be like in a week or two. So yeah, it's very cool. No, I do them equally, a long and short equally. Returns are good in stock, same as crypto. The crypto's a little accelerated in time frame, but yeah, same as crypto pretty much. Who says I don't already, fellow? The chart would show it for a straighter cage. Yep. Stop looking at our NVA. It's going to be the trigger stock of 2021 for me. I mean, what do you want? I called it to the dollar, to the cent, to the micro cent, and it I can't get into the trade because my corporate accounting's not done. That's pretty brutal. Yeah, there's some pretty cool changes coming. I've been toying with some different ideas. This week has been definitely kind of like an off week for me in the way that it's like a weird transition period where the first month of January is like, okay, the first month of 2021 is January, and we're launching this thing and we're trying to see what's working, what's not working. And then the first week of February is kind of looking back at everything, because going into January, I had to plan for like October, September, November. It was like months of planning to get this stuff kind of all worked out and figured out to launch this thing how I wanted to for 2021. So a couple months of planning went into this, and then you get past your first month, and that's the point where you look back and say, okay, where do you want this thing going and what's happening with it? So the first week in February is just all over the place mentally, because like I'm sitting here and I have to think of, okay, this is what we planned for. This is what actually happened. And you can't know how you want to evolve things until you actually complete like the first cycle. So January is completed, the first cycle is completed, and now it's like, okay, now we have to shift things. So I've been boinked on schedule because I'm so tired. Like last night up till almost 1 editing the video for this weekend. I can't keep that up. I need to get a better schedule, right? So now I have to kind of adjust the way my every single day looks like. Now I'm planning to release even more content coming out. So then it's like, okay, well, now I really need to adjust my schedule. And I've got some other cool surprises too that I really thought of along the way all month in January. I'm like, man, that would be so awesome to do it like this. That would be so cool if I could pull that off, right? It would be so amazing if I could add this type of video, right? And this type of series, or these courses, or this change to the live stream. So like the first week in February, which is this week, is like, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because not only am I exhausted because I'm having to catch up on sleep halfway through the days, I really have to rack my brain because now this kind of sets the tone going forward for the rest of the year. So yeah, very, very challenging week. Binance is back up. Oh, it is. Cool. Binance is working again. Except I have a huge buy long and sell short button on my screen now. What the hell is this, Binance? The big X. What are you on about? So yeah, it's been definitely probably the hardest week I've had in a long time is February 1st to 5th, I guess, today. February 1st to 5th. Definitely the hardest week I've had in a long time. Sleep-wise, energy-wise, mental challenges. Yeah. Well, I'm going to put some stuff up on Twitter over the weekend. And yeah, it's going to be pretty neat. Really appreciate you taking the time. Really appreciate it. Yeah, no problem, man. Happy to do it. Follow it on Twitter. Looking forward to the upgrades. I am not on IG. So yeah, February 1st, like what I was saying, like February, very, very, very hard week in February. It's like reinventing the wheel for the whole year because you get hammered with a million ideas all January. You get hammered with a million concepts as you're planning these things, and your brain just kind of goes, and it's like, whoa, which one of these things do I actually do, right? So yeah, it's definitely been a challenging week. It's nice that it's Friday and I have the video coming out tomorrow, which I have to work on all day just to make sure it's out. But it's nice that the video is coming out tomorrow. I can recharge the batteries and really set things up now going forward, because it's really exciting, all the stuff that's coming out next week. Very exciting. Health first. Yeah, for sure. I'm healthy. I'm good, guys. Don't worry about that. I'm just tired because I'm putting in long hours right now. Okay, I'm out of here. See you guys on Monday.